It's no secret at this point that I've been working on trying to get 1,000 kills with every single bow in the Hunter Classic for quite some time, and I've kind of noticed recently with the Longbow, the way that I've been going for immediate kill shots and the method that's been the most successful for me requires the animals to get quite close, and as you can see, we're wearing the Ghillie suit today to try to help out with that, and especially if we can accomplish our goal of finding a 200 whitetail, I think we're going to need every advantage we can get. I believe I mentioned it in the last video, but the way that I've been trying to line up my shots is to go for kind of neck or up kind of closer to the spine and hope to get the arrow down into the lungs if I can. So any opportunity like I had there to kind of climb above the deer and be able to shoot down through, like in this case, where it ends up being lung liver if I miss the neck, that's basically the approach that I've been taking. But the Ghillie suit, on top of just normally allowing me to gain more camo, does seem to be working quite well. And I wore like the army camo recently and the Boone and Crockett camo, and there's been some kind of theories out there that they aren't working properly right now. So again, not only does it kind of add additional visual camo, which is really nice when you're going for super close shots, but it also actually seems to do anything, and I'm not so certain all the other camos at the moment are. And while hills and rocks and natural ways of kind of elevating ourselves above the deer are great, a tripod that's been placed here for forever will work even better than that, because it's going to allow us to get a little closer without risk of spooking him. He still didn't come straight in, he kind of just changed his angle there. That'll do just fine. And honestly, that is one of the few deer I've ever shot out of that tripod. I think I put it there because there are often deer around and it's right among all these reeds, but it's rare that I ever get to use it. So again, the shot didn't do what I wanted. It was skull, shoulder blade, and heart. But that, again, is the point of actually getting above the animal. If we don't get that neck bone shot that's so effective, there's vitals down in there, and that can result in a drop shot too. This is not an intentional effort to just use every method of getting above a deer in this game, but as it turns out, tree stands are even more effective, and if we can line up the shot, quite possibly the easiest one to go for. That's one where, again, there are multiple ways the kill shot can happen. In this case, we got spine and right lung. Spine 1, by the way, in Classic isn't insta-kill. Spine 2 or 3 further back, they'll kind of lay down and have to expire, but another possibility there is ending up with a heart shot, and of course the lung would have brought him down good and quick as well. But we just got to fast travel to get around some deep water here, and we're basically going to rejoin the path that I drew and continue heading south from there. Or we can have a second buck come into this stand and hopefully give us a easier shot. When you can line up exactly between the shoulder blades, there's almost nothing that can go wrong, and go figure, I made a pretty big deal about the camo and wearing the Ghillie suit today, and 3 out of our 4 bucks we've been in a tree stand or tripod where we could be wearing blue jeans and have the same effect. And finally, things are starting to look a little better here, a 150 to 175 whitetail, and I think this is where, wearing the Ghillie suit really matters, because getting close to an average or below average buck really is not that big a deal. It's getting close to a buck of this caliber that is a lot more difficult, and I think by having the Ghillie suit and being able to be stood up early and not get kind of caught just while you're standing there waiting for it to get in range, that can allow for some much closer range shots. And at 8.9 meters on a 166 whitetail, we finally hit that neck shot. Not too bad. So it took $5 to get a good one, and I think especially since we don't often wear the Ghillie, we'll try to get a nice picture if we can find a spot in the sun. And I would say, minus the fact that you can kind of tell that we shot kind of right through the bottom jaw there with the longbow into that neck bone, that looks pretty good. So one of the rare Ghillie suit and longbow combo trophy shots. Hopefully many more to come in the future, but we're around, as there's a toasted right there, maybe an opportunity for another. We're around 725 longbow harvest at the moment, so probably a couple more months to get that one to 1,000, but considering the cableback bow is the next on the list, I would imagine if this continues to work well, the camo is going to remain the same, so we'll kind of see what this doe is going to do. It's more so an opportunity to like I said, get that extra harvest than anything. I wouldn't care much either way otherwise. Before she gets into the reeds, or maybe as she's entering the reeds, gonna take that shot, and yeah, that didn't really go to plan. She was starting to dip down into this deeper area of the water. I wonder where that hit. I'm gonna go with not where we were aiming for that one. It looks like maybe intestines. I was trying to get like through the neck, obviously, and yeah, intestine. I mean, that helped a lot. Getting it down in 3 minutes as opposed to maybe closer to 10. So at least the track wasn't that big a deal, and every harvest counts, especially again when it's this type of thing. And the longbow is not that quiet. You can't just kind of pile up, say, a bunch of does under a tree stand and get a bunch of kills that way. It does require a little more effort. So if we can track an animal for 3 minutes and get it down, I'll take it. Well, apparently, one decent buck was enough for the game to decide to send us a small one in return. He's kind of a cool looking buck. And because we're able to drop him, we can take a look at that. He's almost got like split brows, which, I mean, they're obviously just stickers. There's no like split tines in Classic, but if we pick him up, he's got it on both sides. Just like a little sticker right below the brow tine, so it's kind of cool that they were even almost. Got him right in the nose as well, but as long as it drops him, I'll take it. This is what I would consider a less than normal way to try to shoot a whitetail. He's just in the strangest spots stuck. And I mean, especially with the longbow, I don't love my odds of dropping him. Maybe a spine shot. The way he acted, I guess not. We'll try to hit him again, and then there's another buck coming in, which is kind of the reason that I'm trying to get this guy down, because I believe he would have spooked the other buck. So weird way for that to work out, but at least we got him, and hopefully the other buck coming in is going to be as good or better. I am kind of pleased though, especially since he was kind of running in place that both of those shots kind of hit where I wanted. Shoulder blade left lung both times, a 133 for that rack. I mean, he's basically like a 130's big 10 point, I think. Kind of a cool deer. Definitely nowhere near the class of that 160 earlier, but one you won't see often. I will say, despite the fact that he is not at all better than the one that we just shot, this has been a very buck-heavy spawn, and in my experience, a lot of times that entails basically exactly what we've seen thus far. That little turn there is going to cost us quite a lot of tracking, but usually it's a bunch of kind of decent bucks, a lot of average ones, and then you'll get the decent one here and there. That may have been a spine shot. I thought yeah. When they start wagging their tail like that and trotting, a lot of times you get them in the spine. That was, I said it was going to cost us a lot of tracking. As it turns out, it was a very fortunate landing of that shot, despite him turning around. Spine to an intestine. Actually, he would have went down fairly quick, but 107 and no tracking required at least. But yeah, sometimes we do end up finding really nice bucks in spawns like this. We've seen quite a few bucks over the 2 hours we've been here, and a couple of nice ones at least to make things interesting. Always a welcome surprise to see a bull elk of this stature, 335 to 380, and a rather low weight. Like if I picked up that track, there is zero chance that I was tracking it, but he actually was sleeping right in front of me and then stood up right as I kind of noticed him. Fortunately, he did not run away, and I think if not for the fact that he only had 2 back tines, he could be pretty special. I kind of imagine he's in like the 360 area, 370 in fact, with that neck bone 3 and left lung shot. Gotta say, that's probably our best kill thus far. I'd say that's easily better than the 160's whitetail. Definitely a nice bonus kill though, and I was hoping to maybe get one more buck and wrap up. Hopefully that can still be the result here, but definitely helps to knock down a nice bull elk like that in the process. I wish I could say we were wrapping up with our biggest buck of the hunt, but unfortunately, that is not going to be the case. 92-110, and one of those shots where we just kind of have to go for the lung and track him for a little bit. But definitely over the course of this hunt, and the fact that we have to track him does mean there could be something else yet to run into, but a nice bull elk, pretty good sized buck, a buck that was running quite literally stuck between a rock and a hard place. I mean, definitely a good one. And it does look like we'll be wrapping up with our last buck here, which I think is buck number 9. The bull elk was our 10th male harvest, and of course we had that one doe in there as well. So definitely, like I said, one of the better hunts we've had in terms of volume of bucks, and kind of the stereotypical high number of bucks spawn. Nothing huge, but a good number of decent sized deer, and I definitely can't complain about that. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.